What is up, everybody? Bootman here, and we are back with another Marvel Rivals video, and this one is exciting. This is our first patch, our big patch, since the official launch of Marvel Rivals back on December 6th. And there's been, some whispers about some buffs, some nerfs, and all that, and typically devs have all this stuff going in like a long time in advance, and some of this stuff might not add up based on the current meta. But anyways, let's go through these patch notes and I'll give my thoughts on how this is gonna shake up the current meta, the different buffs, nerfs, changes, and all that. So let's dive into it. One thing I do wanna say, I glanced at this, but I really wanna like dive into it and look at it. But one thing I will say is, we didn't think that NetEase was gonna give us like detailed patch updates, right? Like, for those of you who are around like during the alpha and beta, the first time they released like patch updates, it really seemed like it was AI generated. It was very vague and just weirdly worded, and there was like no numbers, like no stats, like anything like that. Well, in this one, they actually added it, and I just I wanted to point that out because that is huge. It's huge and it's not, all right? Like this is what they should have been doing from the start, but I guess I'm really impressed because they didn't have to change their ways, but they didn't. And so far, we're only a month in, and NetEase is killing it. Like if you haven't watched my previous video, I have early access to season 1. I tested out Invisible Woman and Mr. Fantastic. Go check out my videos, but I also reviewed the Battle Pass. The Battle Pass, like for $10 you get 10 brand new skins. Like NetEase is killing it. I just hope they're making enough money to stay in business and keep updating this game that we love. All right, I will link this down below. I'm not gonna read through all of this, but you can if you want. All right, so let's get down to adjustments. Vanguard, let's start out with the tanks, the big guys. All right, so Steve Rogers, Captain America. Steve will receive some enhanced survivability, allowing more frequent entering and exiting of the combat. So another thing I do like, I like when developers give us a little bit of insight into why they do what they do. I play another game called Multiverses, and whenever they do like buffs and nerfs, they just kind of say, here's the numbers. And it's like, well, let us know what's going on, what stats you have, a view of behind the scenes. Like give us some logic into these changes, right? Because what we're seeing on our end might not be what they're seeing on their end. Because a lot of the times we as gamers don't fully see the full landscape because we have so many biases running around, like this confirmation bias and all sorts of stuff. So I like when they give us just even a sentence, all right? So anyways, I'll shut up. I like to talk about stats and stuff, okay? Calm down, but that's why you're subscribed, right? You like when I talk about this stuff. Okay, so reduce the delay time for the shield restoration after releasing Living Legend from 3 to 2 seconds. Reduce Liberty Rush cooldown from 12 seconds to 10 seconds, okay. Increase base health from 650 to 675. Reduce the energy cost, releasing Freedom Charge, ultimate ability from 3400 to 3100. Reduce the additional health provided per second to self after releasing it from 110 to 100. Okay, cool. So yeah, is this gonna make Captain America like amazing? I don't know. I think, and I heard Flat saying this on a podcast he did, I think Captain America is somewhat slept on. Same with Thor. You don't see them a ton in top competitive play. Like when I was watching like the North American tournament, you barely saw any Captain America or Thor or anything like that. But anyways, sometimes, and you'll hear me talk a lot about this with like patch updates, I think there's a lot of psychological buffs and nerfs where people start playing something more just because of a buff, even though it's minor, or they stop playing something because of a nerf, even though that's minor, you know? And I'm hoping, I don't think this is I don't think there's a huge buff to Captain America, but I hope it's enough. I hope it's enough to get people to test him out a bit more, because he can be a menace when you play against a good Captain America. Doctor Strange will be reducing the threat range and increasing the defense window of the Sorcerer Supreme. Add damage fall off to Maelstrom of Madness and Gamma Maelstrom, starting at 5 meters to reducing to 70% at 8 meters. Interesting, okay. Slightly decrease the shield value recovery right after releasing Shield of the Seraphim from 80 per second to 70 per second. Is that what that means? Yeah, so I've just recently been playing some Strange, and I'm curious how much this damage fall off is going to affect anything. Like, I know a lot of times you're just like right up in there, right? You're like super close. And you're hoping that you're like really close to them. Like, I don't think I'm ever just like, oh, someone's 8 meters away, I'm hoping to hit them a bit. I guess it does help for the people who are backing away when they see you advancing or you're playing very aggressively and stuff. So we'll see. I don't foresee this being a big nerf. Doctor Strange is like arguably the best tank in the game, and I don't think that much is changing off that. Ooh, we got a little Thor. Okay. God of Thunder could use some slightly increased survivability and improve the success rate to his ultimate ability. Increase base health from 525 to 525, added immunity to control effects during God of Thunder, during the ultimate ability. Interesting. I wonder what this means. To control effects? Like, is that when landing? I'll have to test that. I wonder how much of this I could test in that early access thing I have, by the way. But also, so one thing, you'll see a lot of numbers changes like this, like 15, 25 health added or taken away from certain heroes. And I'm curious how much that's going to matter, right? Like, how big is that? Like, one of the games I've been really into for the last couple of years, previously made content on, was like Marvel Snap, right? You see these tiny number changes and you're like, how much of an impact is this gonna be? For some, it was like huge. For others, it was like negligible, right? So I'm curious to see how this is. But again, that could be just a psychological thing and more people are like, oh, cool, 25 health, I'm gonna play him a lot. But the immunity thing, I've been talking about this lately with Thor. One of the things, like, I've been playing like a lot of Luna Snow and Mantis, and when Thor lands, when he lands out of his ult, when I see him ulting, if I get out of the way, if I'm like, okay, I'm out of his range, I just sit there and wait. And then I just ice him or I sleep him. Boom. So I'm wondering if this means that he's immune after he lands. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I know, to control effects during God of Thunder, I don't know what that means. Or does it mean you can't shoot him while he's in the air? I don't know, we gotta test it. All right, Hulk. Dr. Banner has been dominant, but some decreased sustained combat capability upon entering the battlefield will bring him more in line with other Vanguards. Reduce the indestructible guard gamma shield value for hero Hulk from 250 to 200. Even though I was just talking about like minor number changes, I think this is a big one. I think this is a pretty decent size nerf, right? Like, if you focus Hulk, this shield pops pretty soon, but I think this is gonna make an impact. But all of you, like, start shooting that shield. I think a lot of people think that he's like completely invulnerable, but it's like, you could break this thing. Like, just shoot it, do some damage to it. All right, Venom. With increased survivability and the threat of his ultimate ability, the symbiote menace will strike fear into the backlines of all enemies. Ooh, what's this mean for my man Venom? Increased the symbiotic resilience bonus health ratio, gain per lost health point from 1 to 1.2. That seems minor, but we'll see. That seems minor, but we'll see. I love Venom, and I was so happy seeing him played so much in the finals, the North American finals. Like, I'm like, nice, because Venom was my main, like, all throughout the beta once he was released. And I played him a ton on launch, but I've been getting more into healers. But now that seeing him more viable and seeing that he has these two buffs, the second one being increased base damage, a Feast of the Abyss from 40 to 50, like, I'm definitely excited to play some more Venom. All right, Duelist. Black Panther. We're slightly decreasing Chala's combat survivability. Reduce the additional health provided to self after refreshing vibranium marks with Spirit Ren from 40 to 30, an upper limit of additional health provided from 120 to 75. Boom. As somebody who hates playing against Black Panther, I'm a healer, okay? I play a lot of healers. I hate it. I love this. I love this nerf. I love it, love it, love it. There's so many characters in this game. They're just like, they have like a high skill ceiling, right? But when you play those people who are on the upper levels of that skill, it is just the most frustrating thing. By far, my least favorite thing in this game, aside from Jeff's ultimate, is dives. Just characters that dive. It is, so this brings a massive smile to my face. And I might have already noticed this a little bit in the early access. I played against some Black Panthers, and like, we were kind of shredding them. And like, playing with a bunch of content creators, no shade to my content creators, because there's a lot of really, really good ones. So it's possible that some of them weren't just not great Black Panthers, but it did seem like Black Panther was a bit weaker, so I'm very happy about that. Black Widow. Natasha was very much in need of optimization when evaluating the release experience of her abilities, as well as a slight increase to the threat of her ultimate ability. Okay, let's see what they did to old Natasha here. Increase the range of the first effect of Edge Dancer from 3-meter radius to 5-meter radius. Okay. Reduce the time required for Fleet Foot to recover from 0 stamina to full 12 seconds to 4 seconds. Oh, that's knocking 8 seconds off that? Yikes, that is huge. Reduce the time required for Electroplasma Explosion ultimate ability to reach maximum power from 1 second to 0.6, so that's almost half. I'll say this, I still think I think she's the worst hero in the game. Even with these buffs, I think she's the worst. Until you bring her her shots on par with Hawkeye, who we're about to talk about in a second, until she can do that much damage, she's just not gonna get as much play as she should. What's funny enough is, I watch a lot of streamers because I work from home. I'll just have them up in the background, and I have seen some high-level players rocking some Black Widow, and like, they're decent, but she could be a lot better. Okay, well, let's see what happened with Hawkeye, because right now the argument is, why play Black Widow when you could just play Hawkeye, right? You could do way more damage. So Hawkeye will be decreasing the medium long range capability, reducing the threatening combat radius, and slightly improving the close combat resistance for the Avenging Archer. Slightly reduce the spread angle between every 2 blast arrows. I don't even know how much, I don't play Hawkeye much, but I don't know how many people even use that. Reduce the triggering distance of passive ability Archer's Focus from 60 meters to 40 meters. So I'm assuming that means you have to be closer to them for it to start charging up when you target. Is that what that means? Reduce the maximum additional damage of the passive from 80 to 70. I don't know if that's enough, dude. I don't know. When everybody heard about these nerfs, it's like, oh yeah, finally people are gonna stop playing Hawkeye. I don't know if that's enough. We'll see. Okay, Hela, what did they do to you? The Goddess of Death has been a menace, and they use the word menace a lot in this. Hold on. Oh, I guess they only use it twice. All right, thought it was more. All right, and will slightly be decreasing your combat strength. Reduce base health from 275 to 50. Man, what a freaking bummer. Everybody was so excited about these, and I think they're gonna be nothing burgers. Big old nothing burgers. Like, I don't foresee anybody being like, well, Hela has 25 less health. Guess I can't play her. Like, we'll see if it makes a impact. Like, is she gonna die like before she can do her little teleport? Is she gonna die before she could, like, you know, get a little stun off, or, you know, whatever? Is she gonna die before she can pop her ultimate just based off that 25 health drop? I don't think so, but we'll see. I could be wrong. Hope I'm wrong. The Queen of Limbo needed an increase to her threat. Did she? Unleashing her ultimate ability, increase Umbral incursion damage and Dark Child form from 115 to 135. Okay. The Hand of Khonshu will receive a slight increase to the threat of his ultimate ability. Increase the number of talons of the Hand of Khonshu ultimate ability from 10 to 14. Massive. That's massive. That's crazy. This ultimate, when you catch people, is already so strong. Adding 4 more shots to it, forget about it. That's huge. That's huge. Moon Knight's already pretty decent. I don't know if this buff was needed. Increase the expansion explosion radius from 4 meters to 5 meters? What are y'all doing? What are you, like, his ultimate ability was definitely one of the weaker parts of his kit, but that's crazy. We're optimizing the throwing field of Namor's eggs, adjust the throwing field of Monstro spawn and Frozen spawn. Now Namor can more accurately throw them to the desired location. I played a little bit of Namor in early access. It didn't feel that much different, but I wasn't really paying attention to it because I didn't know about this, so I'll check. They do throw kind of wonky, right? Like, you know, it has like a little arch to it, but like, I'm wondering how much different it is. I don't mind it, like it seems, even though we're playing like with like fictional superheroes and villains and stuff, it does feel kind of realistically. Like if I'm tossing a freaking octopus, I don't expect it to just, you know, chuck it. All right, Psylocke, we're providing more options for other heroes to counter the Demon Slayer's ultimate. Now Dance of the Butterfly will check for barriers, including Magneto's metal bulwark, Hulk's indestructible guard, etc. Let me know down in the comments what you think this means. What do you think that means? It will now check for barriers? Like, did the barriers not work against it previously? I'm very confused. I don't get it. Punisher, we're slightly increasing the damage capability of Frank's weapons, slightly reduce the spread of deliverance and adjudication. Okie dokie. We're increasing Wanda's combat strength when she's facing Duelist or Strategist. Increase Chaos Control's fixed damage from 50 to 60 per second. Okay. Reduce the percentage damage per second from 5 to 3. Huh. Increase, geez, how do you even say that word? Chthonian burst projectile damage from 30 to 35. That's not huge, man. Poor Wanda. She was like so big in mainly like pubs in the beta and alpha, but she just falls off really hard at the high levels. I don't see her making like any kind of huge comeuppance after this. Storm, the Weather Witch, needed an overall increase to her damage capability. We're also optimizing the feel of her left click projectile and the release experience of her ultimate ability. Increase Windblade projectile speed from 100 meters per second to 150 meters per second, and left click damage from 50 to 55. Huge. This is huge. I made a Mantis guide video that you should all check out, and one of the biggest weaknesses of Mantis, I think, is like her just left click projectile. But that's the same issue with Storm. Like, it's crazy. By the way, I saw a really funny TikTok of this guy. He's like, why does Storm have to reload air? I liked it. But anyways, I think this is huge. Her left click is one of the weakest parts about her kit, and just increasing the speed like that and the damage, woo! Increased bolt rush damage from 70 to 80, I like it. After releasing Omega Hurricane, ultimate ability, the bonus health provided for herself will be increased from 350 to 450. How many times? I can count on one hand how many times I've seen a Storm die in her ultimate, and she's been around since the alpha, and I've played like hundreds of hours so far. So I don't know if that was necessary. Moreover, following this, its conclusion, the extra health will no longer vanish instantly, but will instead diminish at a rate of 100 per second. Dude, this is huge. This might be one of the bigger shakeups that we've read so far. I can foresee seeing her play a lot more. Right now, a lot of people, not a lot, there's like a handful of people who are like trying to like make Storm a thing, and I think Storm's a thing now. We're increasing the threat of Doreen and her furry friends with the ultimate ability. Addition of a new effect to the unbeatable squirrel tsunami, her ultimate ability, the squirrels will now rush towards the nearest enemy after bouncing instead of bouncing randomly. Massive buff to my girl. I love it. This is great. Reduce the squirrel's tsunami health from 600 to 300. This is another huge one. I don't know if it'll make her like, more competitive. I do think she slept on. She does so much damage. Ever since I saw the trailer of Squirrel Girl, I'm like, that girl does so much damage, right? And she still does. I just think some of her weaknesses are, it's just, she's not the best at like, hitting like an Iron Man or something like that. You're just kind of like a spammer, right? But anyways, this is huge. And I hope we see some more play for her. She's such a fun character. You don't really see her at like high competitive play, but hopefully this does it. This makes the ultimate ability so good. That thing's already a pain. I can tell you as like a healer playing in the back lines after like when playing against a Squirrel Girl, when I see this thing coming, I will jump so far. I'll do like an action roll out of the way and still get tagged by these freaking squirrels. So the fact that it's gonna target people now instead of just going all willy-nilly, big. Winter Soldier will be adjusting Bucky to decreasing his long-range combat strength and increasing his survivability in medium close-range combat. Okay. Increase the bonus health provided by Bionic Hook and Tainted Voltage from 30 to 40. Okay. Okay, that's cool. Increase Rotostern's projectile damage from 70 to 75. Okay. Reduce the area damage from 70 to 65 and reduce the damage decay from 65% at 40 meters to 60%. Okay. Increase base health from 250 to 275. Huge. These are pretty decent. I don't think they're nearly as big as some of the other ones that we just talked about, but I think this is a big buff to Winter Soldier. I think it makes him at least 25 to 30% better. And he's already really good. You just don't see a lot of great Winter Soldier players, but like he's already very good. The word again haunts my nightmares. Wolverine. Here's the most controversial one of the whole freaking thing. Logan will receive an increase to basic combat strength, but a slight decrease to additional survivability after activating Undying Animal. Increase base health by 50. Reduce the damage reduction ratio provided by Undying Animal from 50% to 40%. Percentage stuff is kind of hard to like work out in your head, right? But I don't know. I hope this is good. So one of the reasons I mentioned at the beginning that a lot of times they have these patches set in motion really far in advance is that a lot of people are like, why'd you buff Wolverine? Why'd you buff Wolverine? Well, you guys have to understand, like at the start of the season, Wolverine was like a joke, right? He was like nobody would touch Wolverine, you know, but now people are understanding how to play him. He's become just a nightmare, right? So it's a little bit, so they're like, they had this probably already in motion, but now people are decent with Wolverine as is. Now he's just getting better. But I will say, like I was saying, like my least favorite to play against is like dive characters. Wolverine is just awful to play against. And I think not only is this a decent buff, and I don't think the nerf outweighs the buff, but I think we're gonna see even more Wolverines. People are gonna see this, and all those people who are like, Wolverine's good, maybe I'll learn him, are gonna see this and be like, okay, I'm gonna definitely learn Wolverine now. All right, let's try to get through these. Okay, Ty and Tandy will receive an increase to their healing capability, as well as an expansion to the coverage area of their ultimate ability. This is what I'm looking for, Cloak and Dagger buff. All right, what's this say? Reduce Dagger Storm cooldown from 15 seconds to 12 seconds. Huge. Reduce or increase the number of dashes in Eternal Bond to ultimate ability from 3 to 4. So 3 dashes in the ultimate. This is huge. I love it. Cloak and Dagger was the first character I got to master proficiency. I love them so much. I stopped playing them because I felt like they fell off the higher rank that you got. But then I started seeing a lot of people playing them in the tournament, like in the championships. And this is huge. The Dagger Storm is like one of the best healing abilities in the entire game. It heals for, I believe, 55 per second. Go watch my Cloak and Dagger guide, I say it in there. But reducing it by 3 seconds is huge. Then this, I was playing in the early access and I was like, I thought I was going crazy. I was like, is Cloak and Dagger dashing 4 times? I was like, what's happening? And then I tried it a couple times as Cloak and Dagger. I'm like, yes, they definitely are. This is huge. It's a very good ult when you use it correctly because you could stack it. And like, yeah, I hope we see a lot more. Okay, Jeff, all right, Jeff, what do we got for you? We'll be adjusting the range of his ultimate ability so it better fits the warning marker. In addition, we'll be increasing his healing capability. Adjust Jeff's ultimate ability range from 10 meters sphere to a 10-meter radius. Is that why? Is that why this fool is always getting me? I had no idea this thing was 10 meters high. Dude, like as I've been learning Doctor Strange, there's so many times I hit my little levitate to like fly away and I'm always so high up. I feel like I'm so high up and I still get eaten. So now they're reducing it to 5 meters high and it's no longer a sphere. So I don't know if that's, you know, because a sphere, there might be a lower point over here than in the middle. Anyways, now it's just five meters in a cylinder. So kind of like a, yeah, you know, I don't gotta explain a cylinder to you. You all graduated like middle school, right? Right? All right, increase the healing of Joyful Splash from 140 per second to 120 per second or 150 per second. Okay. Those of you who didn't know, Jeff has the lowest win rate in ranked, like the lowest win rate in ranked. Just keep that in mind. Luna Snow, while we enjoyed her dropping the base, we've made adjustment to Luna's ultimate ability to prevent players from abusing its healing capabilities. Excuse me? I used to hate Luna, but I'm finally playing Luna, so I love her. So let me see what this says. Increase the interval for switching between healing and damage in Fate of both worlds from one. Oh, that's nothing. That's nothing. Oh, from abusing. Were people just fast spamming it? Is that what was happening? I just keep it on healing because I'm an adult. All right. Like, I've never seen somebody like, hey, definitely use the damage boost. No, use that heal for like so many different situations. Yeah, so that's nothing. We're fine. We'll be making Mantis a bit less fleet-footed, reducing her roaming support capability, reduce Nature's Favor passive movement boost from 2.5 to 1.5 meters per second. I don't like it. I don't like it. It seems kind of minor, but I know I'm gonna feel it. Rocket could use an enhancement to its healing capabilities, increase the healing of repair mode from 60 per second to 70 per second. We've actually been having a little debate amongst our buddies about how good Rocket Raccoon is. So according to the stats that we have, Rocket is the 4th best healer for win rate, all right? 4th best. I think it goes Mantis, Adam Warlock, and then Loki. I think it's Mantis, Adam Warlock, Loki, and then Rocket. And I tweeted this out. Follow me on Twitter. It's linked down below. I want somebody to find me a top 500 Rocket. If he's top 4 healers, that's it. But anyways, he has great healing output already, so this is just better. But he doesn't have any crowd control. He doesn't have a defensive ultimate. His is more of an offensive ultimate. One of his biggest strengths is the armor packs with the respawner. But yeah, we'll see how this goes, because my buddy, he's been maining Rocket like since the alpha, and he puts out a lot of healing. So I don't know if he needed this. I think he needs some other stuff. All right. Team up abilities. To further tone down Hawkeye's oppression, we'll be reducing the seasonal buff. Reduce Hawkeye seasonal buff from 20 to 15%. How many times? How many times have you run into a Hawkeye with a Black Widow? Come on. Hela Thor. Much like Hawkeye, Hela's overwhelming power will be receiving slight reduction. Reduce Hela's season bonus from 20 to 15. Sure, you're more likely to see this team up. We'll be increasing. I love it. I love it. I've been playing so much Luna Snow. I've been trying to get my buddy to play more Namor. Increasing the threat of Namor's frozen spawn. Increase frozen spawn damage from 25 to 27. Cool. Increase frozen spawn slowing effect from 25 to 30. I like when we get in those 5% intervals. That's what makes me happy. Increase Berserker state of frozen spawn from 16 to 18. Sick. Rocket and Punisher and Winter Soldier. One of Rocket's best tools will be available more often. 5-second reduction on that. 5 seconds. Those 5s. That's when you're like, you got to look at it like, okay. All right. A bit, Scarlet Witch and Magneto, a bit underwhelming. This is literally the funniest thing I've read in a long time. This is literally, if you ask a lot of people, this is literally one of the strongest team ups in the entire game. Scarlet Witch is just not that great, so you don't see it too often. But this team up is insanely strong. And they nerfed it a little bit. I think between the alpha and the beta, or between the beta and the actual launch, they nerfed it a little bit, but it's still strong as hell. Okay, let me read this. The damage capability of this father-daughter team-up ability will be enhanced. Increased fusion projectile damage from 55 to 60. Okay, spell field damage from 30 to 35. Yeah, okay. Okay, NetEase. This is, if we're doing awards, the strangest update of the entire thing, this right here. All right, lastly, Thor Storm, Captain America will be enhancing the damage capability of Storm's side of this team-up ability. Reduce the cooldown charge from Gale from 20 seconds to 15. Increase the damage of charge Gale from 30 to 55. I like it. Keep showing Storm some love. Keep showing her some love. I think she's gonna have some sick skins. I actually already kind of like her skin, so if she is good, I might end up buying that skin. Overall, I think we do have some slight meta shakeups. We'll see how some others, like I'm really curious to see if like Storm becomes competitive. I think we're gonna see a huge boost in Wolverine play, possibly Winter Soldier play. I do think like maybe Squirrel Girl will see like a little spike in increased play and then drop off just because her kit, like she's not best in slot. Maybe some more moon. I don't know. There's a lot of winners in here. I don't think there's many losers. And I will say overall, I am a big fan of buffs more than nerfs. I think too many devs like listen to people whining and crying and stuff, and rather than just raising other heroes to that level, they just nerf the crap out of things, right? And it's just like, no, just have everybody be super powerful. That's one of the things I love about this game. Like, so many of the characters feel like they are viable. You know what I mean? There's only a few where it's just like, no, I wouldn't recommend. But anyways, I think this is great, and I hope they stay on this path. I think these are just like very conservative, maybe a little too conservative with Hela and Hawkeye. But other than that, like, A+. A+ patch. I love it. I love this balance update. But anyways, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. What do you think? Who do you think the biggest winners, biggest losers are? Do you think this is gonna shape up the meta? Let's talk. Let's have a conversation down below. All right, but anyways, that's all I got. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, ring that notification bell. Make sure you follow me on Twitch, link down in the description below, because I will be streaming some more early access of the new season, playing some Invisible Woman, Mr. Fantastic. Make sure you check out the new videos I uploaded to see some gameplay. I also reviewed the entire battle pass. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. All right, but anyways, thanks so much for watching. Have an amazing rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one.